feeling stressed out? Let's deal with that. Hey there, Enterprisers, what's good? It's Jason Lago here again. And in this video, I want to talk to you about stress management hacks for the successful entrepreneur. That's right, stress management hacks for the successful entrepreneur. Now, it goes without saying that in this life, whether it's in business or just life in general, stress is kind of a natural occurrence every single day for every single person, no matter who you are and what you do. We all have to deal with stress, okay? Stress, in my mind, is almost like risk. All right, a lot of people don't like risk if you're an investor or what have you. And in my opinion, I've always said that risk is neither good or bad. It's just something that needs to be managed. I believe something very similar with regards to stress. Okay, the reality is if you're going to be a successful person in any facet, but especially in building a business and entrepreneurship and so on, then you better believe that stressful things and seasons are going to come your way. With that said, no one likes just being under stress, and a lot of people will break under it. And if you don't know how to manage your stress properly, what can happen is just a series of events that will lead to ruin, not only for your business, but also for your personal life as well. I've seen this time and time again, and this is something that we all want to avoid. So with that, I want to go ahead and offer you 3 very practical hacks, 3 principles that will help you govern your stress management and help you take stress management and turn it into something that can help you become more relieved and just deal with stress the way that it should be, which I believe is sooner than later. And again, use these things as a systematic way to go ahead and deal with that. And that way you can continue to move forward as you need to. Let's get started. Number 1, know your personal stress signals. Know your personal stress signals. Now, this is probably the most important thing because people deal with stress in different ways, okay? And it's important to take stock of who you are, especially when it comes to stress, all right? A lot of the times with sickness, okay, this is not medical advice, I'm not a doctor by any means, but what often doctors will tell you is, of course, when you are being diagnosed with a certain condition, there are symptoms that show that, okay? And I believe that the same is true for stress, and again, it's different for every single person. So take note of what it is that causes you to show what it looks like when you're under stress. Okay, for some people it's their heart racing. For some people it's just becoming extremely irritable. For some people they have a hard time breathing. And it's important to know what these stress signals all are, so that when you can identify it, you can go ahead and deal with it as well. Now, I'm not saying that you're dealing with the exact thing that causes your stress. I'm just talking about treating the symptom at first. That way you can get that under control and it doesn't spiral into something worse. So again, in the example that I just gave, where maybe you notice that when you're under a whole lot of stress, your heart starts to flutter, right? Your heart races, and then maybe you start to, your breathing becomes very labored and very intensive, and you start going into this, crazy breakdown. One thing that you can do once you notice this thing coming on is to take a second, force yourself to take a second and regroup. Okay, you maybe do some deep abdominal breathing, maybe have a quick seat down, close your eyes, and just relax a little bit and allow this to pass, right? Trying to work through this time where your heart is racing and your personal stress signals are going off. In this case, like I said, when your heart is just pounding and your breathing is labored, trying to work through like that is just absolutely detrimental, right? It's non-productive at all. You're not going to be able to do everything that you want to do if you're trying to operate under those conditions. So take a second and take a breather and deal with whatever is causing your signals to go off. Handle the symptoms at first. Go ahead and put the Band-Aid over it, and then let's go ahead and move forward to treating the actual cause. Number 2, stress resolution should not be procrastinated. Stress resolution should not be procrastinated, okay? I think it speaks for itself. So in the first point, I said go ahead and put a Band-Aid on it. Go ahead and deal with the symptoms, okay, right? If your heart is racing and if your breathing is becoming labored, if you're starting to see cross-eyed, yes, go ahead and take a second and breathe, get through it, and get to where you can operate normally, right? But in this second situation, now I'm telling you to go ahead and deal with what's causing the stress. Now is the time to do it. Once you've put yourself under a control and gotten yourself to a state where you can operate cleanly and fluid-like, now it's time to go ahead and deal with it, okay? And a lot of people have a hard time with this particular point. They think, okay, if there's a fire that needs to be put out or if there's something I need to deal with, let me go ahead and put it off later and put it off later. I'm telling you that I believe that what's best is to handle it sooner than later. I don't think that procrastination should take place in this at all. Now, I'm not saying that you should jump into anything rash and make any harsh and rash decisions for that matter either. I'm not saying that at all. I think you definitely want to be prepared and deal with it accordingly. However, there's something to be said about handling things with urgency, okay? Whereas this is something that you would normally put off a week or two out in the future, I would say move it up to the top 3 or top 5 things in your priority list. Go ahead and deal with it, okay? In the world of business, oftentimes, an example of this would be something like dealing with an unhappy vendor or an unhappy client, right? A disgruntled customer. And you gotta make that tough phone call. You have to fire somebody. You have to change some things around. You might have to place a refund, okay? You have to deal with the aftermath and put out the fire. Whatever it is, go ahead and do it, all right? I know that it's uncomfortable. I know that it's a little bit stressful, but there is something to be said about clearing something off your plate. I've made this point many times before. And in the case of stress resolution, it matters all the same. Go ahead and take care of it, get it off your plate, and get on with your life, okay? Stress resolution should not be procrastinated. Number 3, and finally, healthier life, less stressful life. Healthier life, less stressful life. Now again, I'll go ahead and make my other disclaimer like I did before, that I'm not a health expert. It's certainly not the picture of health. And like anyone else, I definitely could be getting healthier and want to, and I'm currently working towards it. With that said, I think that there is something important to be said about your health, right? And obviously the healthier you are, then the best, it can only be better in other parts of your life. And so if you're healthier, you got to believe that you could be able to deal with stresses all the more easy, or at least all the more comfortable. At least just make it a little bit more capable of doing so. All right, there's a reason I think that every single year, at the beginning of the year, everyone's New Year's resolutions falls into 3 categories and only 3 categories, and they are happier, healthier, wealthier, right? It's always those 3, some form of it. All right, happier, healthier, wealthier, right? Making more money, losing more weight, getting healthy, okay? Whatever it is, you know what I'm talking about, right? So I gotta believe that if you're healthier, it can only help you do other things, and it'll permeate in other forms of your life, including your business, right? And stress management, all right? I think that if if we look at the examples that we've been talking about, if you're an unhealthy person who is completely morbidly obese with all types of underlying health conditions, and a stress factor or a stress symptom is your heart racing, you got to believe that could affect you in a very, very negative way. Again, this is not medical advice. This is just me speaking, practically and trying to think through this based on my own experience, what I've seen. All right, but you take that same person, let them lose some weight and get to a healthier version of themselves. All of a sudden, these stress factors, if they attack them, it's going to be a little bit less, tragic for them, right? A little bit less severe for them. So, and on top of that, everyone should be seeking to be healthy anyway, right? It can only help you. So there you have it, my friends. Those are 3 great ways to go ahead and approach your stress management. I trust these things were helpful to you, especially, again, if you're a successful entrepreneur. You're a successful entrepreneur because stress comes your way, right? Stress doesn't come to those who are doing nothing. Stress comes to those who are trying to make something happen. So I congratulate you for being that person, but just know that stress is coming your way, and I hope that these help you deal with that stress in a way that is good and positive for you. Now, make sure that you give me a like and a comment. Let me know down below what you think about these techniques, or maybe there's another one that you can recommend. But also, you know the deal. Make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss out on any more hot new content that I got coming down the pipe just for you. On top of that, if you haven't had a chance yet, click on the first link in the description. It's my gift to you. It's my free ebook that shows you exactly what I did to leave the corporate lifestyle to living the ultimate laptop lifestyle like I'm doing right now. It's called the Digital Freedom Shortcut, and it's my gift to you. It shows you my story, exactly what I did, and I can't wait to share it with you. That's it, my friends. My name's Jason Ligo. I'll see you later. Take care.